Well, welcome everybody. This is episode 22 of the Fast and Fabulous podcast. I have Star McEuen with us today, and I am so excited, Star, to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I really appreciate you having me here. I'm so excited to be here and just talk all things fasting.
That's why I love to have you, lady. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time, let me tell you, because you're my first guest of 2023. And so that is very significant because it's January. And what is everyone doing this month but setting their New Year's resolutions and trying to get healthier, happier, stronger? So I've been admittedly stalking you for the past 3 years. It started in Jin's original, Delay Don't Deny group 3 years ago when I started, and it's kind of just evolved till now. So thank you for all of your motivation over the last 3 years, because it's just I'm always learning something from you, and that's what I love about you. So if you could, for our listeners, just give us a little backstory and tell us, when did you first discover clean intermittent fasting? When was that?
So I discovered clean fasting back in August of 2019. I was kind of, just one of those moms. I've got 6 kids, birthed 4 of them,
Oh my
and
goodness.
did
Bless
all the
you.
at home did all the at home workout, videos when all the kids were little to try to stay in shape, and all those things, worked in between babies and stuff like that. And then even as I was through my adult life, I felt like I was able to pretty much control my weight, I would be able to do this, or I would be on this workout regimen, or I would be
Mhm,
um, eating a certain way or doing meal replacement shakes or whatever. But I felt
mhm,
like I was always kind of able to control my weight.
right.
And then I hit about 35 years old. A lot of stressful things going on in our lives, dynamics changing, and
Mm,
um, it I don't know, the weight just started piling on, and I felt like it was just kind of coming out of nowhere, and I was getting away from the gym because life was getting too busy. We were building a house, and that was so stressful, and so there's just so many things going on, and I just felt like everything was getting out of control and the weight was just piling on. I was trying to go back to all the things I did my entire life, to lose
mm,
weight, and none of them were working. I wasn't feeling good. I was depressed. I was like miserable, and just no matter what, I just felt like the weight was coming on, and no matter what I tried to do, low calorie, keto, like whatever, we would start something with my husband and he'd lose a bunch of weight and I wouldn't lose anything. It was just like so annoying. And so I was just like at my wits end, kind of like, I don't understand, like this used to be not easy, but it was never this hard, like
right.
never this hard to lose weight.
Sure.
Like I just couldn't understand. And I just didn't feel good at all, like at all, not myself, anything. And I had a friend that texted me a picture. She was my best friend from high school. She texted me a picture, and it was of her and her mom, and she like looked so good, not just like
Mm,
thin or skinny,
mm,
like she had a glow about her. Her skin looked great. She looked young, like she
mm.
looked like what she looked like back in high school.
Wow.
And so I commented, I was like, wow, you look amazing. And she's like, oh, thanks. Um I read this book, Delay Don't Deny, and it changed my life. And she's like, you should get the book on Audible, because she knows I don't like to
Mm,
read back from high
yeah.
school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she's like, get the book on Audible. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So it took me, I think that was like in July or something like that. And
Mhm,
then it took me till about August to finally listen to it. And
mm,
I listened to it, and I just felt like light bulbs were going off like the whole time I was listening to Jen's book. I was just like, oh, this makes so much sense onto why I'm gaining weight, and I can't get it off, because we understand now that what we're doing when we're on a low calorie diet or doing anything, we understand what is happening anytime we're putting any kind of food, like things, beverages, anything in our mouth, that we're spiking our blood sugar. And when that happens, insulin automatically rises to take care of that. And so now it's like, okay, now I'm understanding more. So anyways, read the book, and I just started going, okay, clean fast. That's what she says to do. Those that
Mhm.
don't know what clean fast means, um, it means you're only allowed to have plain water, black coffee, or black tea.
That's it.
That's just the bottom line. The
Mhm.
reasoning behind it, I think, is the biggest part that everybody needs to understand. You know, instead of it just being like this rule and it's just like you have to follow it, learn
Mhm.
why you have to follow it.
Yes.
Learn
Oh my
what is
gosh.
happening. Because
Yes.
that's, instead of it just seeming like a rule, if you're truly understanding the science behind what is happening in your body
Mhm.
when you are eating something, whether it's a healthy protein shake, a healthy protein bar, whatever, you need to understand what is happening anytime you eat food. You have to understand what's happening in your body. And now I recommend to my clients and anybody else that even asks me about fasting, I literally almost don't want to even talk to them unless they've read the book Fast Feast Repeat by Jen Stevens, because I believe
Yes.
that there's so much research that she has done in that book. There's just so much good to pull out of that book. And within the first two chapters, you're going to understand the why behind why you're even fasting in the first place. You're going to understand why all those low calorie diets and all the BS you've done your whole life of yo-yo roller coaster, you're going to understand why that didn't work. And then you're going to understand how you can reverse that, fix that, get your mindset thinking completely differently, and learning how to live a sustainable lifestyle of intermittent fasting. And I think that
Yeah.
that's like the biggest thing with fasting, is that people come to fasting as a diet. They
Yeah.
come to it treating it like a diet. They want quick results.
Yep.
They want to know what to do. What did you do to lose weight? I want to do it real quick, because in our brains, I think we're always thinking we're going to start something and we're going to stop it. We
Mhm.
don't feel good. We need to start a diet, and then we're going to get off the diet once we get to our quote unquote goal weight.
Mhm.
Well, newsflash, we're never going to stop fasting.
Right.
If you slept, you fasted. So another newsflash, spoiler alert, we're all intermittent fasters in this life, because if you sleep at all, whether you sleep at night or daytime, you are an intermittent faster.
Right.
All you got to do is be more mindful of what's going in your body, and not be spiking your insulin at 7 a.m. with just random crap or bites of this or bites of that.
Mhm.
Just keep drinking water, stay hydrated, and then focus on a meal that's going to nourish your body. But I'm pretty sure I
100%.
just went off on a really big tangent
I
and
I love it. I
instead
loved
of
that
even
tangent so
answering your
much.
question.
I loved that tangent. That
So,
tangent was amazing.
but I mean, that's how I found fasting, because my friend,
Yeah.
and then I started it in August. I guess I'll go back to that. I started it in
You have
August of
2019, right?
2019.
Yeah.
2019. Yeah, August.
And
It was August, like, I think it was actually August 19th of 2019, I think is the date, if I remember right. But started that date, and then by February of 2020, hit my first goal weight of 140 pounds.
mhm, mhm.
So in
So
that
that
amount
was
of time, I mean, the weight,
it just
I,
came off for you. I
I think
mean,
it just came off. It just melted off. I
so what
think
did you
once
start with? Did you start slow or did you start like did you jump
I
in?
kind of ripped I kind of ripped off the Band-Aid. I was
Yeah.
more, because I'm an all or nothing
Mhm.
type of person. I don't
Yep.
tiptoe around. I'm like,
Mhm.
here it is. Well, let me
Mhm.
tell you.
Yeah.
So Jen, when she in Delay Don't Deny, when she started off, she said that she did like a 19.5,
Mhm.
where she did OMAD. So of course I started out with OMAD,
Mhm.
and understanding OMAD, or 1 meal a day, is explained in the book as well, because it does
Mhm.
not mean just one plate of food. We can have, a meal and then something
Mhm.
else or whatnot. But so in her book, Delay Don't Deny, she says that she started out with like a snack, and then
Mhm.
she had her dinner, and then if she wanted something
Mhm.
else, she would have something else. So that I was like, I can do that, because in that first book, Delay Don't Deny, she doesn't really tell you where to start or how to start. She's just explaining her story,
Mhm,
kind of intermittent fasting
mhm.
in Delay Don't Deny, and sharing it with all of us. And so then you kind of read that book, and some people were like, well, now what do we do, type of thing. And so that's why she made or wrote the book Fast, Feast, Repeat. And it's actually called A Comprehensive Guide to Delay, Don't Deny. So it gives you a little bit more steps in there, and there's a ton more research behind it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so much more
your question
comprehensive.
though,
And that's okay. That's
yeah,
it's so like so if we want to back up just a minute, you said you've done a lot of different diets in the past. You mentioned keto, restrictive calorie diets, but you were also a personal trainer, correct?
it froze up.
Oh, here we go. Oh, you got you. I don't know
You're
if the
back.
last thing you heard.
I
It's
got
okay. We can edit it out. Oh, my internet connection's
okay.
unstable. That's amazing. All right. Here we go. We're back. So, if we want to back up, you've done lots of different diet plans before you discovered fasting. And keto, you mentioned calorie restriction, but you were also a personal trainer, correct? Like,
Correct.
were you taught like eat
I went
6 meals a day and everything?
Yeah, I mean, we have a giant book. It was the ISSA. It was like an online personal training thing. You go online and you have to take all the, and everything, and you study this book, and you have a giant book, but everything's a mathematical equation in that book. You're always trying to figure out, oh, okay, you weigh this much, you're this height, you're this age, and you're doing all this mathematical stuff to try to figure out where this person should start out with their calories and blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
so it's mind blowing to me now with all the research that has been done with fasting, with calories, that all calories are not created equal, and everybody's body is going to burn different things differently. So just
Yep.
telling somebody to eat X amount of calories every day is a horrible,
It's
horrible plan.
excuse me, but it's horseshit. It's just
Yeah,
ridiculous because I mean the way
really is.
I like when Jin describes about it is the calories in a gummy bear being comparable to a calorie in a piece of broccoli. I mean, you can't, compare the two. So you were a personal trainer and you got overweight, and even a personal trainer couldn't, you know, what you were given in school, that's what you were doing, and it wasn't working. And it's so frustrating because so many people are in that same boat, and they have no idea about fasting, or they've heard something like it's starving yourself, it's an eating disorder, blah 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 blah, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So I want to
Mhm.
know, when you were losing your over 80 pounds that you lost, were you exercising?
No.
Did you hear that? She was not exercising. And that is one of the things that drew me to you, because I was like, she's doing this and dang, she looks amazing and she hasn't exercised. That's so cool. Like, that is so, so cool. So, and okay, so my other question is, when you were doing your OMAD at first, were you paying attention to what you were eating, like the quality or the quantity or anything like that? Or was it just like, I'm going to eat my snack, my meal, and then close it out with something and anything goes?
Yes. In the very beginning, I was one of those where I would say bad fasters because I really did just come to intermittent fasting, was like, wait a minute, I just don't eat and then I can eat whatever I want. And I ran with that. Like, I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
this is like the best plan ever. I can totally do that. So I would just not eat, drink water all day. Because when I first heard that I had to have black coffee, like, let me just explain to you. I was one of those people that people were like, "Would you like some a splash of coffee in that cream?" Because I was all cream, no coffee almost, or at
Same.
least it was like a half and half ratio.
Yep.
So when they said black coffee, I was like, "You have got to be out of your mind. I ain't a
Right.
cowboy. I'm not trying to drink black coffee. Like, I don't understand. Like, no, we're not out on the range. I don't need to drink black coffee. I have creamer. Why would I drink it black?" So I was like, I'm not just drinking any of it. I'm just going to drink water. I was like, like boycotting it all.
Yeah.
And so I
Okay.
just drank water. And then
Okay.
after about 3 months, I got really sick of water. And then I
Yeah.
would be like, okay, I'll try a little bit of black coffee here and there.
Okay.
But So, but my point is, so no, drank water, and then I would get to I had a part-time job at the time,
Mhm.
and I would get home anytime between 1 and 3. So I would
Mm.
always tell myself, start, just get out the door. And instead of trying to grab a protein bar and trying to grab something because you might get hungry later and
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
grab your water and get out the door. So then I'm like, okay, I can do that. That's easy.
Mm.
Grabbed my water, got dressed, got out the door. And I would just keep telling myself, if you can, once you get home, you can have something to eat. So then I would get home and it would just depend. I mean, sometimes I'd go straight from work to ball games. So I'd be
Mm.
breaking my fast with nachos and a Pepsi. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't think nothing of it because I was
Yeah.
like, well, what? I just
Yeah.
fasted and now what? This is my snack and I'll eat dinner later.
Sure.
Um, and so that's really, I really did kind of do it that way where I would break with a snack and it wouldn't be the healthiest and I would eat whatever my family was eating for that day.
Yeah.
Um, and if I wanted something after that, I would have it, but then if not, I would just close my window. So that's how I rolled in the very beginning, where I wasn't being mindful of what I was eating. All I was trying to do was fast, and then I would eat. Like
You were,
I
yeah.
wasn't, nothing else. So that's all I did in the very beginning. It wasn't until I was about 8 months into intermittent fasting, and all of a sudden one day I felt like it wasn't working for me anymore, if you wanna call it that, because
Yeah.
I was getting hungry in the morning, which I
Mm.
never hungry in the morning. So I was getting hungry in the morning, and, I was I just felt like I don't know, I wasn't being sustained anymore. I was able to usually do always 1 meal a day, and then all
Mm.
of a sudden I wanted 2 meals, like, it was really strange. I even
Mm.
reached out to Jen and was like,
Mm.
"Hey, what's going on?" But then
Yeah.
I really started figuring out that I was breaking my meal still with or breaking my fast, sorry. I was breaking my fast with a snack.
Mm.
And my snack, I think, was getting too big because I had already been fasting for so long. So once you're obviously fasting for so long,
Mhm.
you're in ketosis every single day. You're
Mhm.
burning whatever your stored fat is every single day. And so I think when I would break my fast, I'd be so hungry and I would eat too much of my snack. And if
Yeah.
my snack wasn't healthy enough, or even if it was a healthy snack, I would probably eat, like, say, hummus and pretzel chips, but I would eat like half the tub of hummus and half the bag of pretzel chips,
Mm.
and then I wouldn't be too hungry when dinner came around because I just ate a ton of my snack. So then I didn't fill up on like any nutrients, any protein, nothing. So then the next day, no wonder why I was hungry at 10 a.m. because I'm not getting any nutrients or calories. So then I'm like, okay,
Sure.
how can I? So then I started going, I need to break my fast with my main meal and eat that main meal all gone because that's my jam, right? Like my OMAD, my 1 meal, I gotta eat that. Like that's important. And so,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that really helps a lot of my clients too, is breaking your fast with your main meal
Mm.
instead of snacking, because sometimes the snacking hole can take you down a garbage disposal of
Mhm.
like, if you break your fast with the wrong things,
Oh, totally.
it literally like ignites some sort of like junk food garbage disposal. If you start with horrible foods, you go down that avenue. If
I
you
think there's
start
a
with
science behind it, actually, with like the crunchiness and the like the garbage, the processed foods. Yeah, you get almost like it's like if I break with something, really overly processed or junky, yeah, I feel like garbage the whole day, and then continue to eat garbage.
yes, and there's a reason why is because I've done a lot of research too, and they literally put the people that make our food literally put additives and things in that processed food to make it like it's more addictive than like cocaine, they say. Like the
Right.
stuff that they put there, where it's like you can't help yourself. Like who could just get like, a handful of chips and be all, I'm fine with a handful of chips. No,
Nobody.
if the whole bag is there, you'll keep eating it whether you're full or not. And there's a
Yeah.
reason why. It's not because you have no willpower. It's not because you suck. It's not because whatever.
Hmm.
It's because it's designed to make you want to like have it. And they're emptyless calories. Like those calories you're getting so many calories, but you're getting negative nutrition like at all. So you're getting all this horrible fat, all this processed food, all this junk, all these chemicals in your body, but no actual nutrients.
It's
So
insane.
yeah.
It's
So yeah,
really
I
insane.
started breaking my fast with my main meal, and then
Okay.
all of a sudden I was like, fasting was back on board or working again, whatever you
Easier.
want, easier again. Yeah, where I was
Yeah.
like, okay, now I can fast longer because
Yeah.
I was fasting 20 plus hours, and then all of a sudden like I said, I could barely fast like 15, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So breaking my fast with my main meal, eating it all gone because that's your jam. And then over time, so it was about around this same time, I think like your body just organically, without you even knowing it,
Mm,
starts wanting and choosing healthier options. So
100%.
yes, like I love Cheetos and I love junk food. I'm a foodie and I'm a super sugar addict. So I have to like limit myself. But that's why I love fasting, because if you tell me I can't have something, that's exactly what I want. So
Hmm.
when I'm on a diet and I'm on keto and I know I can't have carbs, that is all my brain is craving is carbs. And I feel like I'm going to punch somebody if I don't eat carbs.
Right.
That's why I love fasting, because yes, I can have cake, or yes, I can have this food, but how is that food going to make me feel after I eat it? So that's why I coined my little phrase, eat for your goal, because yes, we can eat what we want as fasters,
Mm.
but what we want will change over time. I promise you. If
Oh
somebody would
my
have told me that
gosh.
I was ordering Brussels sprouts off of a menu, I would have gave them the bird and been like, I will never order Brussels sprouts. Just yesterday, I was ordering Brussels sprouts and we're all fighting over eating them.
Yum.
Like who, like,
You're like,
but
who am I?
fasting, like, yeah, it just like
Yeah.
it opens up so many things. Like fasting is so incredible on so many different levels that it's just amazing.
It just changes your whole palette because like I love what your little phrase fast or eat for your goal.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that so much because yeah, in the beginning, eating what you want helps us sustain this lifestyle. Because if we like if this wasn't a sustainable lifestyle, you wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be here still. None of us would.
Right.
So eating, but then after, you adjust, you become appetite, fat adapted, you have appetite correction happen, then yes, you start to crave different things. So what
Mhm.
are some things that you crave now besides Brussels sprouts that you never craved before?
Well, I love avocado toast. And I never was really one of those that was like loved avocado toast until I've always loved avocados and I've always loved toast, but never put them together. And
It's
then I
good,
would,
right?
yeah, it's great. I love it. I'm not one of those that puts egg on it. I don't like eggs, so I think that's kind of gross. But other than that, I love avocado toast. That's like a really favorite thing. Did you ask what I like to break with, or what
I
are
would
my
like to know that too. So yeah, I would love to know what you break with these days. I know you said a full meal, but what does that usually
it's
look like?
what whatever I come up with.
Whatever, it's just whatever for the day. Yeah.
Basically. So like, but what we kind of do, just because our life is so crazy and so busy, and with having four teenagers in high school, it's a shit show.
I
So
cannot even imagine. I'm so scared.
yeah. So we sit down on Sundays and I write literally on a piece of paper Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Mm.
Friday. And I write everybody's schedule on that, what time practice is, what time games are. That way I know what day I'm going out of town, what day I'm home, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
And then so then I can look at all those days and we can figure out what our meal is for that day. So like we have it kind of a little bit planned out on Sundays. And when we don't do that, the weeks are a mess.
Oh
So
yeah.
having a plan, you guys, is seriously like next level. Like you
It,
have to have the plan, because if you just wait till you're like hungry and you're like, what should I eat for my one meal? You're gonna be like, oh, I don't know, In and Out sounds really good, or you're gonna pick like fast food
yeah.
because you're hungry right this minute. So
Hmm.
always having a plan is super, super beneficial, I think.
Totally. Having a plan. I mean, you're inspiring me to get more organized because I never have plans because my kids are little and they refuse to eat the things that I eat. They're not going to eat a steak and, Brussels sprouts with me or
Right,
whatever I
right.
decide to eat. So yeah, having a plan. Totally helpful. I love that you plan your whole week, and it does. I mean, 6 kids, I can't imagine. Like, you're a rock star, honestly, because I only have 2 and I can't imagine 4 more.
Yeah.
So, um, you did an experiment on Instagram a little bit ago with a CGM. And so I just wanted to ask you about that a little bit. So what were your main takeaways? Because I followed that and it was super interesting to me. And I'm interested in doing it myself,
Mhm.
because I would like to, I'm fine with where I'm at, but over time, over the next year or so, I would like to shed a couple more pounds. But I would love to like know what your main takeaways were from the CGM experiment.
Ooh, lots of things. I mean, it was really interesting to be able to like eat a bowl of chicken Alfredo. And in my head, chicken Alfredo is bad for you, right? It has way like too much fat and it's pasta and carbs. So it's just going to be terrible. But
Sure.
I ate a bowl of course, my homemade chicken Alfredo, and I have a lot of chicken in my bowl. So my ratio for pasta to chicken is, like a 50-50, like,
Hmm. Hmm.
or even more chicken than pasta.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I ate that and didn't even get hardly like a spike at all. Like, I mean, it moved up a little bit, but in my head, I should have like shot up really high and didn't, at all.
It's so
Um,
crazy.
but then there's other random things that would happen where the next time I'd eat chicken Alfredo, I did spike a little bit. So then I'm like, okay, well, what's the difference between
Mm,
this time in chicken Alfredo and last time?
mm,
And the only type of things I could think of is like what I ate leading up
mm,
to
mhm.
that day. So like that's why, you guys, what we eat does matter. So it's like take all these things that you have learned throughout your whole life with any diet you have been on, okay? There is good in everything out there. There is good in every diet, there's good in every religion, there's good in everything. So take a little bit of what you have learned from all those things and apply it to your daily fasting lifestyle. So like if you felt amazing when you did a keto diet, then your body might respond really well to a high protein type diet. We need to understand that diet just means what you eat. It doesn't
Right.
mean we're on some sort of roller coaster
Restriction.
ride we're getting off of. Yeah, it's just like
Right.
what is your eating diet or whatever you want to
Hmm.
call it.
Hmm.
So, some days I'm a vegetarian, some days I eat keto, some days I'm paleo, some days I'm whatever the hell I want. Like I am all over the board. So I take a little bit about what I have learned though from all those different diets I was on my whole life, and
Mm,
I try to apply it to right now. But the
mm.
beauty is again, with all those diets, there was always some restriction. There was always somebody telling me I couldn't have this, couldn't have that. But with fasting, guess who gets to tell me what I can and can't have? My own self. So I now fasting has taught me how to truly have a good relationship with food and that I can trust myself again around food. We've never been able to trust ourselves around food. We've always had to be
Oh,
told what to eat, how many calories, what macros, this, that, and the other, because we have never felt inside that we could truly choose what to eat with our own brains. And fasting teaches you that over time. I feel like it teaches you how to choose the foods that support your goal daily. But then the beauty with fasting is like, yes, I might eat for my goal every couple days, but then if I randomly have a hankering for sugar or something or fast food, I can go eat it. And I didn't fall off a wagon, have a cheat meal,
no.
mess nothing up. I didn't do none of that. I just rolled with my daily lifestyle for that day. And if that day was a total shit show and I had to go out and eat fast food, then that's what I'm going to do. Like,
Yeah.
and fasting gives me the freedom to do that. But do I know that fast food's bad for me? Yes. Do I know sugar's bad for me? Yes. Do I know I shouldn't have it and it causes more inflammation? Yes. So I have to ask myself, that's why I got myself these reminder bands made up. Star, is this eating for your goal? Because before you even go to put something in your mouth, you get to ask yourself that. So there is no rule and there is no diet, but you got to ask yourself, if your goal is weight loss and you are chowing down horrible, foods every day and eating tons of sugar, then you get to your goal. Of course, we're not going to stop fasting, but maybe once you're at your goal and you're in maintenance, maybe you can add those things back in a little bit here and there, where when you were actually trying to lose weight and eat for your goal, you were cutting them out. But then, as you go on, like I said, you can kind of add them back in. And that's another thing that I love about fasting, because I don't know, it's just amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's total food freedom. And like you said, it's repaired your relationship with food. I don't know about you, but I've been dieting up and down yo-yo since I was 16 years old, and I had a horrible relationship with food. I felt like, like I think you could probably relate. It's just like you were never skinny enough, or you were always counting calories, or whatever it is. And so to have that freedom, to know that you can have a day where you just, it's not the greatest eating day. So what? Tomorrow you just try again. And with fasting, it just, you go right back. Like I said that with the holidays, going through, everybody's flipping out about the holiday weight. And before I fasted, I would gain 10 pounds almost every year. Maybe
Yes.
I'd get like 3 or 4 of those off, but every year stacked, stacked, stacked. But with fasting, it's so wonderful because I don't gain holiday weight. And if I do, I know it's just water, inflammation. And as soon as I go back into my routine, we're good to go. Right. So it's just like such a freedom that is just, I can't scream it from the mountaintops enough. And I know you feel the same way. So, I mean, you're eating a lot differently now. So I'm super like, I can totally relate to your have a healthy day, mostly healthy days, eating for your goal. What I would like to bring up, and I mean, last year you did a big thing, and I want to talk about it a little bit. You co-wrote a book. So can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, so a really good friend of mine, Paige Davidson, who has an amazing intermittent fasting story, reached out to
Love
me.
Paige.
Yes, she's the best.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Hey, I want to write a book. Like, would you want to be a co-author on it with me and Lori Lewis, who is another amazing intermittent faster that we all love?" And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, at first I was like, no, I don't want to write a book. I'm fine. Like, I don't even like to read. I don't want to write a book. And she's like, no, but you got to get your story out there. Your stories, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So then we, and her and the publisher and stuff, like, compiled all these people together. So there's like me and Paige and Lori are the co-authors on the book. And then there's, I believe it's 20 other, I get confused with the different chapters, but I believe it's 20 other women's stories. So it's called Women Action Takers Who Gained by Losing. And it can be found on Amazon or Kindle and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically just our stories of intermittent fasting and how we lost weight. So it's like 20 some women's stories in this book, just telling you their specific stories. And they're all so different and so inspirational, where it's, women that going through menopause, premenopause, after menopause, all this stuff. So such a great.
That is so cool. And I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. So it's Women Who Gained by Losing, and you can find it on Amazon for anyone listening. Tons of inspirational stories about women and men. Is it just, actually just women? Just women, all ages, post, pre, menopause, young, old. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your age. It's never too late to start fasting and heal your body. So pick up that book. It's an awesome book. I can attest to that. So non-scale victories, I always love to ask this question. I bring it up because I know you've probably had tons over the years. And so for anyone listening, non-scale victory, obviously any victory you have in your weight loss journey, your health journey, that is not related to the scale, because the scale doesn't tell the whole story. So what is your most significant non-scale victory that you've had in the past 3 years? Well, 3 plus.
Somebody asked me this on a live the other day, and it was the hardest question to answer.
I know.
I don't know why, because I'm like, there's so many
There's
non-skip
so
victories.
many.
There's just so many that it's unbelievable to try to even think of them. But the biggest ones, I guess I would have to say, is my blood work, because
Yeah,
blood work doesn't lie. Um,
never.
and when I was at my healthiest, and I can even roll back a little bit. Yes, I was a personal trainer, but I also hired a nutritionist and personal trainer, paid $500 a month for
Oh my gosh.
yeah, for 3 months to try to lose weight, and I lost no weight doing their program, and they were making me eat like 5 or 10 things I could only eat, and I had to eat like a shiz ton of food every 3 hours, and I would like not even be hungry, but the timer would go off to eat. It was awful. Awful.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. That sounds
yeah.
terrible.
Remind me back to what your question was though.
Non-scale victory.
Non-scale victories. So my blood work. So, oh, that's why I was telling you this. So
Yeah.
when I was at my healthiest, eating sweet potatoes with dried chicken and no sauce on it and all this kind of stuff, my cholesterol, I have hereditary high cholesterol. So no matter what, it's always high.
Okay.
But there's a certain number that when it goes over that, they're like, that's like past high. So it's, you
Yeah.
need medicine. But when I was at my healthiest, I was at my cholesterol was in my normal high range. But then when I got obese, it got off the charts. It was like
Mm.
360. And then my
Wow.
LDL, which is your bad one, was like
Yeah.
242. So they're
Okay.
like, I left that appointment with high cholesterol medication at that point because they're like, yeah, you're not good. So take these pills.
Oh, sure. Take the pills. Yes.
Yeah. And then also my thyroid wasn't working. And so that's why I was tired.
Naturally. Yeah.
That's why I was gaining weight because my
Mm.
thyroid wasn't working. They gave me these pills and I was supposed to magically be better. That didn't happen.
Mm.
But then found intermittent fasting. And after 3 months, I was able to come off my high cholesterol medication and my thyroid medication because my thyroid magically started working again and I was making too much or whatever, plus taking the thyroid pills. So they told me, come off thyroid pills because your thyroid's working all of a sudden, even though they told me I had Hashimoto's and all this other crap. But so came off thyroid medication and the high cholesterol medication. And I just got blood work done like in August.
Mm.
And I'm like literally the healthiest I have ever been in my entire life. And pause too, back then when I was working out and eating like that and everything, or I was working out back then. So I was like working out plus
Yeah.
eating really great. And my blood work was what I was decent. Now I literally eat what I want. I do not exercise, but I'm not lazy. So I have to throw that in there. I literally don't hardly ever sit
You're a
still.
mom of 6. How could you be
Yeah,
lazy?
yeah, I'm on the go. I mean, I sit in the car a lot, so that's a lot of sitting. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I should get to the gym and at least walk or something. But like, yeah. So
I mean, listen, the fact that you were able to come off of so many medications like you did and take back your health and not accept the fact that, these doctors were telling you this surface level bullshit, that you had
mhm,
to take all these pills to be healthy, and you weren't accepting that. And I love that because we can't take what I like to call it guesswork in a white coat. And that's not to deem that doctors are bad or anything like that, but we cannot take it all at surface level because it is
yes,
guesswork in a white coat. And
mhm,
you have to kind of listen to your own intuition. And sometimes you have to dig deeper. And that's how you found intermittent fasting. That's how a lot of people find it. And I hope we can touch somebody out there today that will start to take back their health and get off some medications and get healthier. So that's really my goal, is to spread this word as much as possible. And I know it's yours too. And that's why
yeah.
I love having you here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, you're a fasting coach, correct?
Mhm.
How can people find you?
Basically on my Instagram, if you
Okay.
just go to love my IFing life on Instagram and just DM me. And I take a certain amount of clients, like one-on-one clients at a time. So sometimes I have openings and sometimes I don't, but you can just DM me or get on my
Okay.
waiting list and stuff like that. Or I also started doing consultation calls this year because
Okay.
sometimes people just have like a million questions that they want to bounce
Yeah.
off of somebody that's, knows a little bit about fasting. And so that's been
Yeah.
super beneficial where people that don't
That's
necessarily
cool.
want daily
Yeah.
one-on-one coaching, but they're just like, hey, I'm having all these
Mm,
issues. Can I talk to you about them?
mm.
Type of thing. So
Totally. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I love that because yeah, not everyone needs that daily, hand holding. It's more like help me a little bit. I need to
help me
be
a little bit.
steered
Yes.
in the right direction.
Yes.
And everybody can go off course. So if you're interested in Star's coaching services, go to her Instagram, loving my IF life. So how important, I just want to wrap it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure I know the answer to your question here. Community in this lifestyle, how important is it?
I believe it's very important, but I believe you want to find and stay connected with the right community, because if you're just searching out there on YouTube or Instagram for fasting stuff, you're going to find a lot of stuff out there, and you're going to find a lot of people in white coats that have a DR in front of their name that say they're fasting experts, and they have not so great advice, and not all of it is 100% true. And I still feel like people have a misconception with fasting. They hear the F word and they just hide and think it's awful and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But to remind everybody that, like, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for our ancestors, and they all fasted back then. And
Yes, they did.
like, people act like fasting is a new thing, and it just makes me want to laugh in their face, because it's like, come on now. Like, there was not Starbucks on every corner
No.
back in, biblical times, when people are fighting for their food and all this and that. And we didn't have obese people back then. Why? Because there wasn't junk food, and there wasn't commercials telling you had to eat breakfast at 7 a.m. and that Lucky Charms are better than a steak. Are you
Oh
out of
wait, did you
damn
hear?
mind?
Did you read that too? That
Oh
new
my, yeah.
pyramid they're coming. Oh my! I was actually going to ask you if you saw that.
I'm like, somebody put a CGM on those people and have them eat Lucky Charms, and then have them eat a steak. And you tell me which one's
Right.
better for you. Like, are
Okay.
you out of who comes up with this? I
And
don't
this
even,
is like coming out of the White House, people.
that's
Like
awful.
our government is telling us that Lucky Charms is healthier for you than a steak. It's laughable.
It's ludicrous. It's absolutely laughable. Yes.
So,
Like,
I mean, like you said, I love that. Don't go on the internet and start deep diving into YouTube or whatever and go drive yourself into this craziness, this cycle, because
mhm.
you're going to get all kinds of misinformation.
I mean, the
Go
biggest
read
thing
Fast,
is, like,
Feast, Repeat,
yes,
right?
Jen's community is amazing. Jen has her community.
Yeah.
That's a great, I don't know the exact, whatever of it. I can't remember, like, the community. What, I think you just go to Jen Stevens / community, I think is what you go to. And she created her own platform, basically. So
Yes.
like Facebook, but it's only of fasting. And so
Yep.
it's a platform for you to go and talk with like-minded people. There's different groups on there that you join in on, and it's amazing. And yeah, it costs a little bit, but it's 1,000% worth it. So just go do it, if expect, because, like, I'm telling you, like-minded people, and understanding that people that do this as a lifestyle. And that's the biggest thing. I believe that so many people treat intermittent fasting like a diet. I know I did when I first started intermittent fasting. So that is why I do this coaching, because I want people to not make all the mistakes that I made in the very beginning. And I want them to
Yes.
start out with the good habits right away, so, because yeah,
Absolutely.
so listening to too many things. I have so many people sending me reels all day long of
Yep.
other people that are making and saying certain things about fasting, and I'm like, and they send it to me, and I immediately go comment some sort of comment on there, because I'm
I,
like,
I've
are
seen your
you
house. You're like, no. And I
I'm like,
love that.
yeah, I'm like, that's the most horrible advice I've ever heard, is usually what I say. Like, go get educated. That's my other one I say, because
Please.
it's like, you're not educated enough. You're just thinking about fasting as a starvation thing. And it's not that. I have been anorexic and bulimic, diagnosed with that in my life when I was 15 years old. So I have been on every spectrum of literally being anorexic and being 98 pounds, almost hospitalized sickness. Okay.
Oh my
At
gosh.
15 years old. And then
Wow.
I've been obese at almost 210 pounds in my life at 35 years old. So I have been on the entire spectrum. I have been through the health, the coaching, the personal trainer, the nutritionist, the everything spectrum. And I'm telling you right now that just controlling the food that is going in your mouth all day long and just being more mindful, staying hydrated and drinking water and then eating is so simple. Don't overcomplicate it.
Keep
Keep
it
it that
simple.
simple and you will feel better. If you're tired of yo-yo dieting, if you want to get control of your health, this is the answer.
Absolutely. Gosh, I mean, so many good points. The yo-yo dieting over time just will completely tank your metabolism. You're a product of it. I was a product of it. So many people are a product of it. You don't have to be stuck in this cycle of madness anymore. There's an answer.
No,
It's
there's
clean
an
intermittent fasting. So go out, get fast feast repeat, start there, and
mm-hmm.
just start. There's no good time. Don't
Yeah,
wait for something to be over. Don't wait for
no,
your, whatever it is.
yeah.
Just start.
Don't wait till Monday just because
No.
again, you guys, you're already intermittent fasting because if you slept, you fasted. So you're already doing it. So you don't need to start tomorrow because if you slept last night, then you're already doing it. And for me, it's only 9 o'clock in the morning over here. So if I was a new intermittent faster listening to this right now, I'd be like, well, I haven't eaten anything today yet. So hey, I'm already starting. So I'm doing this today.
Right. I
And
mean, I like to tell people, just start by delaying breakfast a bit and see
yeah,
how you feel.
mhm,
I mean,
yeah.
for me, that's how I started. It was so easy to just delay breakfast. Oh, easy peasy. I'm gonna
Yes, and that's
delay it
exactly
more
what
and
I
more,
did.
you
Yeah,
know?
I just got to lunch. I mean, I did that because I had that
Mm,
part-time job, so that's exactly what I did in the beginning. I tried to get to 1 or 2 was basically what time I got home.
mhm.
So that's just what I would do. In my head, I'd be like, "Star, you can do this. You can get to 1 or 2." And I remember in the very beginning thinking 1 or 2 was like might as well have been 10 p.m.
Oh,
because it felt
please.
like
Yeah.
forever away. Like when you have constant circulating insulin,
Mhm.
you're constantly hungry. That's why you're always hungry on
Did
your
you
low
hear that?
calorie
When
diet.
you have constant circulating insulin, you are always hungry. That is
Yes.
so important. Please,
Yes.
please remember that.
And so, like, just because you're hungry or feel that hunger, it's probably not true hunger, you guys, because you probably have circulating insulin. So it's like we need, and that's what fasting teaches us. It teaches us if we can get that insulin level low, then we know we can listen to our body when it does say it's hungry, because it is probably true hunger. It's not insulin saying you're hungry, because when there's so
Right.
much circulating insulin, it's looking for more stuff so it can go and store it. So it's like, hey, give me more food. And so if
Yeah.
you listen, but we don't want to listen, just like Dr. Jason Fung's analogy of the refrigerator and the freezer.
Yeah.
When your body is hungry, do not go to the refrigerator and open it, AKA your mouth. Do not open your mouth and put food in it when you are hungry, because what you want to do is keep the refrigerator closed. Force your body to go to the freezer and tap into your stored fat. How are you ever going to lose weight on your body if you're constantly opening the refrigerator and feeding your mouth every time you're hungry? Your body is never going to have to tap into your stored fat because you listened and opened your mouth at the second of hunger. No, sit, wait, listen, get that insulin levels low, burn through that stored glycogen, start burning your stored fat. You got to get through those steps though. I always say there's 3 steps to weight loss, and first is getting that insulin low.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then you tap into your stored stuff you have in your liver and in your muscles. And once your body burns through that, then that's when you flip the metabolic switch, you get over into ketosis, and you're burning your stored fat every single day. Whether you eat freaking carbs or not, you are in ketosis every single day as an intermittent faster.
Did you hear that, everyone? If you eat carbs or not, once you hit your fat stores every single day, once you flip that metabolic switch, which is the magic of the clean fast, it
Yeah.
takes time to get there. But once that switch is flipped on, you hit ketosis every single day, whether or not you're eating carbs. I am here to tell you, Star's here to tell you, we're all here to tell you, it does not matter. Carbs are not your enemy. They can be. They're not for everyone. They could be inflammatory, but they're not your enemy. You can go into ketosis with carbs. I get that question all the time.
Right.
It's like, are you keto? How did you reduce carbs? Or how did you eliminate carbs?
Yeah.
I'm like, I eat carbs. Heck,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to wrap it up here because I don't want to take up your whole day. I know you've got 6 kids. You probably have a load of stuff to do today. We're in January. There's probably a lot of new fasters or maybe people just thinking about starting an intermittent fasting lifestyle out there listening right now. If you could give out just one tip, what would it be for somebody who's never tried this that could be skeptical?
Well, my first tip and foremost is always please go get the book Fast, Feast, Repeat, because I feel like you have to read and understand again the why you are fasting and what it is doing to your body when you are clean fasting. So once you understand that system that's happening, it'll make you want to stick to the fasting longer. But my one piece of advice too is take it one day at a time. This is not a race. This is not a marathon, or this is more like a marathon. This is not something you're going to start and stop. So like my biggest thing when I get a client, my biggest first thing out of my mouth or whatever is you need to understand that you are committing to an intermittent fasting lifestyle for the rest of your life. You're never going to stop. Your eating windows and your fasted hours are going to always change, as they should, daily. And your health goal is going to change. You know, when you don't care to be a size 2 or whatever, you might have a longer window because you're 60 years old and you don't really care. But you will always fast for the health benefits. So we fast for the health benefits because everybody should be fasting, whether you have weight to lose or not. Everybody in this entire world should be intermittent fasting for the health benefits. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
We all need autophagy. And when autophagy, go Google it to see what it is. But when autophagy gets going, that's when all the dormant cancer cells and the dementia cells and the inflammation and your pre-diabetes or your fatty liver and all those things are getting freaking eaten away. That's why our skin tightens. We don't have saggy skin. We don't look gray. We've got our nutrients. Our bodies are literally cleaning out our cells. That's what autophagy is. It's eating away of the bad cells in our body. And then we produce new cells, new stem cells, you guys. You're producing new stem cells when you're intermittent fasting. So over time, we feel better. So stay away from the scale. That would be a huge, probably one thing is the scale is the devil and it does not determine your progress as an intermittent faster at all. I have been up 6 pounds from one day to the next on the scale. You cannot tell me that in one day, 6 pounds of fat was gained. Okay.
No.
So that right there tells me how much the devil of the scale is. And there's no number that's going to show up on that scale that's ever going to determine your progress. And we need to remember what the scale was all these years. The scale was a tool to let us know whether we needed to get on a diet because we were too fat, or we used the scale because we wanted to get off the ridiculous diet we were on. So we were hoping that we were at our freaking goal weight so we could get off the stupid diet. So that's what we always use the scale for. Well,
I couldn't agree more.
We're never going to start and stop anything with fasting. We're just going to fast forever. So it really doesn't ever matter what that scale says because we're never going to stop fasting. So I would just say get rid of the scale because it causes way too much stress and it's way too much of a mind thing. Even for me nowadays, I can't even hardly hop on it because if I hop on it randomly, which that's a big no-no too, do not hop on and off of it. If you're going to be one of those crazy people with the scale, you have to get the Happy Scale app and you need to weigh every single day at the exact same time, the exact same way, whether that's naked or whatever, and then put that in the Happy Scale app and it'll give you a downward trend on the right side. And that's what you pay attention to because even when I was losing weight, I would go like 176, 172. And I'd be like, hot damn, I just lost 4 pounds. And then I'd be like 178. And I'd be like, what the hell? Now I'm at the what? And so,
It's
but when you get at daily average, it tells you, so if you're really one of those crazies, you got to do it that way. But
yeah.
my biggest thing is like, get rid of it because it doesn't ever matter what the scale says. Take pictures, get some honesty pants and take measurements. I lost, I don't remember, 8 or 9 inches off of my waist. Like
Oh my
what?
gosh.
Like,
Yeah.
so take measurements. Measurements are way more progress and pictures because you'll start seeing your face, you'll start seeing your love handles, you'll start seeing your back fat going away. You're going to start seeing all these things in pictures, but your mind will muff you up. And sometimes when we look in the mirror, we might see something that's really not there. And I like kind of learned that when I was back in anorexic mode and stuff back then, where it was like I looked in the mirror and saw a fat person, even though they're all telling me I'm 98 pounds. My brain saw a fat person.
I
So we
had
have
the same
to,
problem, body dysmorphia. I mean,
yes.
it's
So our bodies, I mean, our brains are going to take a long time of training. That's why this intermittent fasting is a lifestyle. You're going to take every day, one day at a time. So don't be thinking about what's going to happen next week or what's going to be happening. Oh, get all nervous about the party you're going to have and how are you going to eat? Don't worry about that then. Worry about right now. You can
right.
only control right now and today. Worry about today. Eat for today,
Oh,
never eat for future hunger. So never go, oh, I
yes.
might get hungry tomorrow. I should eat something else right now before I close my window. No, you shouldn't. You pay attention to how you're feeling in the moment right now. Your body will sustain tomorrow. And if you do get hungry tomorrow, guess what? You're going to keep the refrigerator closed, force your body to go to your freezer, and you might burn a little extra fat tomorrow. Congratulations. So, yeah,
It's just a feeling. Like hunger is just, I like to tell people is it real hunger or is it just the feeling of being
the feeling.
hungry? You
Mhm.
know?
Or we're bored or out of habit. We
Exactly.
do we do so many things out of habit or because
Go
we're
take a
bored.
walk. Go
Go,
listen,
yeah.
listen to some music, go work out, whatever you need to do, read a book,
Go clean out your junk drawer. Do
organize
dumb,
something.
organize
Yes.
something. Like seriously, stuff you. That's why I love intermittent fasting too, because I feel like it makes me be such a productive human.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, well, crap, I don't want to eat right now, but my brain is telling me go eat something, so I'm just gonna go clean something, even though it's the last thing I want to do. But I don't want to break my fast yet, so that is what I'm gonna go do. So
And
it's
then you
like,
get your mind off of it and it's like you're not
yeah,
hungry anymore and you make it to your goal and you're good.
exactly,
So
exactly.
I mean, Star, this has been so awesome having you here. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful wisdom. I love chatting with you. I hope we could do this again sometime.
Yes, for sure.
Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and
Yeah, you too.
don't stress out too much with all of the activities and everything. I hope you have
Oh
a
no.
smooth week.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much again for having me. I just love
Oh,
getting the word of fasting out there and the freedom that it will give you if you, just do this lifestyle.
100%. I could not agree more. Thank you so
All
much. Have a
right. Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
You too. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.